How you doing, YouTubers? This is Korikai. A lot of people are doing DS collections, DS reviews, DS, a lot of things towards the DS. I like the DS. I haven't had it for very long, but I think it's a pretty good system. A lot of people say it's just for kids or whatever. It's not for kids. It has something for everybody. My collection is not very big, but I am getting into collecting, and I'll be doing reviews for all my games. If I don't have a certain game, like if I have one game but I don't have the other game in the series, it's only because I've played it or I've beaten it or I've sold it or I just can't get it. So, without further ado, Dance Wars, Days of Ruin, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Everyone should have this game. Phoenix Wright, Justice for All, Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. I'm on this one now. The World Ends With You, another must-have. I'm sorry if my camera is like putting a giant glare on the game covers, but can't really control that. Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift. Some people have Diamond, some people have Pearl. I have Pokemon Platinum. Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. I have the complete series. I have not beaten it yet, but it's still a series that every DS owner must have. Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia. I have beaten this. And you can beat Dracula in this, which is the final boss, very easily. Etrian Odyssey 2, Heroes of Lagard. The first one is out of print, just like this one, but it's 10 times harder to find. I'm a big Mega Man fan, so Mega Man ZX Atlant. Bangai-O Spirits. And Trauma Center 2, well, Trauma Center Under the Knife 2. I played the first one on the DS and the Wii. I prefer the DS. I like the controls more. So, these are all the games I have, 13 in all. And I said I would do reviews for them, and I'll start with the first game that I showed you, Advance Wars, Days of Ruin. Advance Wars started with Famicom Wars, which is the NES for Japan, and I wish I could keep showing that, but my camera screen isn't very big, so my face would be covered every single time I put it up there. But Advance Wars, I didn't really like it that much. Like, I didn't play Famicom Wars, and pretty much I got into it for the very first Advance Wars, which is for the Game Boy Advance. And I have to say that I did not like it at all. I didn't feel like it was my game until Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising came out, which is still on the Game Boy Advance. And I fell in love with it instantly. Like, Advance Wars is pretty much like a strategy RPG, but it's not like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is like magic and swords. It's more a modern like you control like infantry, tank units. It's still the strategy RPG feel, but it's, you know, a little different. It's not the same thing that everyone else is used to, which I like. And then the DS came out, and DS, I wanted a DS so bad, and then they announced Advance Wars Dual Strike, which was the very first Advance Wars for the DS, and I went ballistic. It was the game I bought my DS for. I played that game for hundreds of hours. I don't own it anymore because I don't own my DS anymore. Well, my first one. I've only had my DS Lite, Cobalt Blue, so sexy, for about a month. So I think for me to only have about 13 games is pretty decent. And I got Days of Ruin because I couldn't find Dual Strike anymore. And for people who have played this game, even though it doesn't have the same amount of content as, well, actually have more content, I'll explain that, but it doesn't have the same feeling as Dual Strike. I still think it's a worthy addition to the Advance Wars franchise. I really like it. I don't like the fact that you don't get like your CO powers, and I'll explain that too, like until like halfway into the game. But and this annoying flashing is coming from my TV, which is in the corner. Sorry about that. It's a game that you have to get into. Like, I don't think it's a game you'll love, but if you devote your time to it, like, I think you'll really come to enjoy it. Now, pretty much, Dual Strike is the predecessor to this. This takes like years beforehand. I mean, years afterwards. Sorry. And pretty much, it's about the Orange Star Army, which is like the army you control in the beginning, and how like they're like this neutral army, like they stand for peace and justice and all that bullcrap. And you get to control more people and more armies, and your CO powers, which are like your superpowers. Like back in the day, like of Advanced Wars 2, when you got your CO power, which you get from hitting enemies or being hit by other enemies, you could like turn the match around with like, oh, I have my CO power, now I'm gonna win. But now with this game, CO powers have been drastically reduced. Some people see that as good because it's not as game breaking. I see that as like I can get used to it, but I don't really care. Like I would say, give this game a shot. Used, it's about $24.99, and if you find the other one used, it's also $24.99 GameStop wise. So like either one's a good pick. I would actually prefer this one. This has Wi-Fi connectivity, and there's tons of maps. The campaign is kind of short, but this game is ridiculously hard compared to Dual Strike. I have not beaten it yet. And pretty much, like, when you beat it, it still keeps you busy. You have hundreds of different other maps. You have level editor, you have Wi-Fi connectivity, you have little, like, trial maps that you can unlock when you beat like the area around a certain area. Like if you look at the map when you open campaign, it's like this big square, and you'll like beat missions on a line, and when you beat all the missions surrounding one area, you'll unlock this trial map, which pretty much like it tests your skills, but like the majority of them are out without COs, which stands for commanding officer. If I didn't explain that before, and I probably didn't. So, like, you're just like this random person. You have no CO power. You have nothing. It's all about playing skill. I love the challenge that presents. If you don't like hard games, you probably won't like this because it can get very challenging. But give it a chance anyway if you have not played it, or you just want something for your DS that will take up a lot of time. Get this game. I'm going to do a quick impressions on this, and I'll review it in my very next video. But pretty much, Immature is awesome. Every DS owner should own this game. And I said that when I was going through my games, but I'm dead serious. Like, everyone should own this game. Like, I'm not joking. When I had my DS, the big, clumsy, first model one, I hated this game. Like, I did not want to buy it. I avoided it. And Capcom, I love Capcom. It's one of my favorite companies. But, like, I pretty much was like, and Trauma Center 2, which is a good game by the way, I have the second one, and I was like, why would I want to play as a lawyer? Why would I want to play as a doctor or a surgeon or anything? Like, I avoided it, and then I got my DS Lite, and I just had to pick this up. Like, I saw reviews for it, and I just had to play it, and I was so hooked. Like, the story writing for the game is so good, it's not even funny. Like, you will love this game. You will love this game. You will fall in love with the characters. I will do an in-depth review. My first review wasn't all that good. I'm probably going to get a lot of flames for that, but I promise to work on them and make them better. Another shot at the box art. Wow. I can actually tilt it back and you can actually see it without the glare, so that's something to work on. So, this is Korikai, and bye, YouTubers.